Welcome, all aliens, time travelers, and espers. This is another episode of Between Nerds. Thank you for joining us. This is your host,
Lloyd,
Drew, and Aldo Mendes.
How come you got your last name?
I know I was about to ask.
Hey, I was good. I use my last name.
So what's the deal, man? How we doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you. Thank you for asking. How about you, Drew?
I'm good. I hope later when we listen to this, we can hear Aldo this time.
I know, right?
Hopefully. So today, guys, we're talking about the novel, The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya.
Haruhi Suzumiya.
Yes. So, what you guys think? 28 episodes? No, 25 episodes.
Is it supposed to be 25 episodes?
25. It's at episode 0 and then 1 through 24.
Okay. Yeah, it was pretty good, I guess.
You didn't like it?
It was alright.
What didn't you like?
Maybe, you know what it was? So I was watching the anime on this YouTube playlist, and the playlist was all off, so it kind of like threw me.
Yes, I watched the same thing, but you can still follow it.
Did you like it?
I liked it, and to a point, I respected it.
You respect it. Why'd you respect it?
More than I liked it. I mean, it's like a Scooby-Doo. It's like a Scooby-Doo anime, and I don't know, it's just cool to see all this weird stuff happening just because this annoying-ass girl wants it to.
A little background on The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya is that it's basically the anime that made Kyoto Animation the slice of life like Golden Boy it was before that employee bombed it last year.
Yeah, R.I.P.
R.I.P. Kyoto Animation. So basically, like, this is what like defined the genre at the time, and this is why we even have like modern anime a little bit more like this. And this is like a 10-year-old.
Really,
it looks very good. I mean,
it's
a 2006 anime. It looks very good. Like the first episodes that came out, I mean, they look awesome. And like I said, as far as story wise, I don't know what you didn't like about it, Lloyd.
I mean, the story was good. I understood why we were watching it after I watched a couple of episodes. Because at first I was like, what am I watching? Like, I really wasn't getting into it that much. It took me a couple episodes, and I came to the realization that there's a little bit more to this.
So, guide us through the first episode, Drew.
The very first episode. Okay, so here's the difference. The YouTube playlist that you and Lloyd were watching is based off of the DVD order. But when I initially watched this in high school, I watched it off of the release order, which has it like all kinds of messed up. So for me, the first time watching it, it was like even more trippy because the episodes don't even sort of line up. Mm-hmm. So the first episode I ever watched, which was your episode 25, is episode 0, which is when they make a really bad sci-fi movie for the school culture festival.
So it was the first episode that came out?
Yeah, that was episode 0. Wow. So like, I kept seeing at the time... I don't even know if it was Twitter, because who the fuck was on Twitter in 2007? But I remember just seeing about it somewhere, and then I tried to watch it, and I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Like, why would I ever watch it, like, after 30 seconds?
Man, I think that was my least favorite episode.
What is your episode? What was episode 1 on what you watched?
So what I watched is Keon starting school in high school, and he meets this very eccentric girl, which is, Haruhi.
Right. And that was like episode 2 on the release order. Because official, like, episode 1 would have been like...
The movie one.
The movie where Keon is actually... he's...
Not the
like
movie.
He's talking in third person, right? Or he's kind of just like a...
No, that's episode 0. Like, labeled labeled episode 1, like, the official episode 1 would have been, like, your episode 8 that your playlist, like... dropped, which is like it explains like what happens to Kyon like when he goes back 3 years.
Oh, 3 years. Okay.
But I think so. The order you watched is the like official release order. Like if you want like the full continuity and for it to actually make sense, that's how you should watch it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But part of the initial experience for me watching it was that it just didn't make sense, and no matter like how many episodes you watched, it didn't really like.
Did you rewatch it this past week or?
No, I did. I watched it in the order you guys watched it.
Okay, cool.
And I was watching it with my girlfriend Karen, and what I thought was really funny.
Did your girlfriend Karen like it?
She liked it because she likes the character of Haruhi.
Yeah.
Because, again, she's a tsundere. I don't know why I keep picking anime where the main girl is a tsundere.
You're also a tsundere.
But in like episode 1 or episode 2, when like she barely starts talking to Kion, you hear her say, "Why would I ever talk to men? All men in the universe are useless." And you just hear,
she's just like, "Ooh, I like this one."
Yeah, you just hear Karen from the other room being like, "Hell yeah!"
That's funny.
That's what.
And it's not until like episode 3 I noticed was the first time that they used the word melancholy. I'll direct the question at Lloyd. How did you think about like how the term melancholy was used both in the title and throughout the show?
I thought it's kind of like a wordplay because the whole Haruhi Suzumiya is, she's pretty much how the Spectre, what's this dude's name? Koizumi?
Okay.
He refers to as God. And
the Esper, Koizumi. Yeah.
So he refers to Haruhi as God. And I just think that that sets like the tone throughout the whole show, because it's everything that's happening is because that's something that she wants, that's something that she manifests, and she has like these supernatural powers that are just out of this world. And I see why they refer to her as God. But then at the same time, like I said, it's kind of like a wordplay because everything just goes with her mood, and whenever something wrong happens, is because she becomes a bit melancholic, or if it makes her feel like saddened, that's when things start going wrong. Where we see these closed spaces popping up, and those ghostly figures come up, and it's sort of like her fighting her internal emotions. So that's why I kind of feel about the whole show is it's her just dealing with these emotions, and what's his name? Kion. He's there just like the supportive figure, and at the same time he kind of like he's also kind of lost as to how he got reeled into all this. But I think that's also because like episode 8 just like really explains everything, and I just like shit just goes like in a loop, and the whole story is just crazy. But building up to that point, so throughout between what is it, like episode 1 through 7, right? It's all about her. They start like throwing hints at like when like 3 years ago and whatnot. What happened 3 years ago, Drew?
Well, can we hear it from Aldo real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the melancholy, what do I think about the title and how it's just like across the anime? Honestly, I think that that Haruhi shares the same melancholy that we see of Kion at the beginning of the anime. She just realized it way before but like, for example, in the first episode, you see Kion saying, "You know what? I'm starting high school. It's time to realize that none of this cool, fictional stuff is real and stuff like that. This world is it's not boring, but it's just whatever. It's just real life. Yeah, average." And then when he meets Haruhi, very, very frustrated from a very young age, she did not take part of something she saw ridiculous, which was normality, and she just wanted something weird to happen. And she's bored. She's bored, and the fact that she's this unconscious being, it's completely at random. She just happened to have a personality that just was a little chaotic in a way with this kind of powers. And I guess that's why they engaged throughout the whole season, because in the whole anime, your questioning is like, why did he pick Kion? Why did he pick Kion? I think it's because they share the same melancholy, which is a sad feeling, or
I like how the use of the word melancholy is used throughout the series, because you will like episode like 3 or 4. It's just like Haruhi didn't come to school today because I guess she got a bad case of melancholies. Her and Kion have a really boring time, like walking back from school, and it's just like, oh, that was really melancholy. And to Aldo's point, I think it's true that she's just like super bored. She is like a god. The time traveling android calls her like the source of human evolution. the time traveler calls her like the
Time
point
disruption.
that the time disruption, and just having someone that powerful, the universe like molds around her to try to like make her happy, which you see later in the season when they're recording the film. Just random pieces of nature like flowers blooming, bunch of pigeons turning white, cats talking, all happens because the universe is just trying to make her happy.
Yeah, this is her world, and they're just living in it in that sense.
So what you were talking about episode 8, so the initial first like 2-3 episodes sound like a really, really boring slice of life. Like this guy's just going to school, this girl's going to school, this girl's talking crazy, just starts recruiting all these random people, but then one by one the time traveling girl, an Esper, which in this translation is kind of like a psychic, somebody that they keep calling an alien even though she's kind of like an android built by aliens. They all approach him and they're like, hey, something happened 3 years ago, and for some reason all of Haruhi's focus and power is focused on you right now, so can you please not fuck this up so that we can maintain this universe. So then we get to episode 8, which is about how Kyon gets transported 3 years into the past, which like all these people keep referring to some incident that happened at her middle school. And basically Kyon got sent to the past, met a young Haruhi breaking into her middle school in 7th grade, and helped her use like field paint, like soccer field paint, to paint like glyphs and like hieroglyphics on this park. And that's what created this initial surge of power that gave the Esper his powers, was able to give people the power of time travel. And for me, I don't even find that to be the most important episode. The episode that like solidified Haruhi for me and made me want to finish it was the episode where they get transferred into their own closed space. Haruhi made a whole separate universe just to live in with Kyon alone, amongst a bunch of monsters. And we were talking a little bit before the show. Alder, were you saying that you don't think that they love each other?
I don't think so. Man. I think that their personality, as far as what I saw, I don't think Haruhi, her personality is more of like making people better, or trying to get the 100% out of everybody. And as far as Kyon, I don't think Kyon loves her. I think Kyon, I think it's a sense of respect because she still wants to go through all this stuff when she just doesn't know that she is the thing that is making all these fictional things, all these weird things happening. And he, in the first episode, just kind of was like, ready to give it all, ready to stop thinking about the things that he liked.
Lloyd, did you notice the Snow White reference in the closed space episode?
Yes.
What'd you think about that?
Well, I kind of wanted to... No. I didn't really care much for that, actually.
You didn't?
Yeah.
Why not?
There's like... Because I kind of got what's going on, but the way I feel about like both Kyon and Suzumi, they kind of have like an emotional codependency.
You think?
Yeah, because once she gets a liking to him, there's a lot of the things that are going on are based from like something that Kyon said, or if Kyon didn't do something physically, she gets very moody. And it's the same with Kyon as well, because there's an episode where he almost loses his temper and he almost hits her, and he's having all these tumultuous thoughts that is just upsetting him. But this is because how Haruhi made him feel, and you get to realize that throughout the episodes, because if one's feeling good, then the other one's also kind of like, at least he's good. But like Haruhi really doesn't show it.
That episode, the episode when he gets very upset at Haruhi during the movie, very important, because back to the Snow White thing, I know it was a kiss to wake her up from the imminent destruction of that universe, but what made me not think of that moment so much, it was towards the end when they were in the time loop and what was the Esper's name? Koizumi. I'm sorry, Koizumi. He keeps like, well, maybe you should grab her as she leaves and tell her you love her. And then at that point, I was like, okay, maybe there is a something love thing, but that never happened. And then, like what Lloyd said, they have kind of this codependency where you see Haruhi even evolving with her rude ways. Like she started worrying about people being in the room when she changed. She started asking people what their plans were before making a plan. She started. You see little subtle ways that she's changing.
But these are all good things.
I know. But what I'm saying is that their relationship, I don't see it as romantic.
No,
because Kion is showing her how to be a better person, and she's showing Kion how to be a better version of himself.
How to have fun, basically.
Yeah.
Because, and what's ironic about the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya is that I don't even feel that Haruhi's the main character. I've always thought that it's Kion. We see 100% of the show and the movie through Kion's perspective. We hear all his monologues, and all we hear him do is gripe about how interesting his life is, because he has all these interesting people and all these interesting things just happening at all times.
Yeah. And
for me, I feel like that's solidified more in the beginning of the movie, because he's like painfully aware how boring his life is now, and he can't wait to have it back. And which is why I was disagreeing with you so much when we were talking earlier about whether I think that they like actually like each other. I would say infatuated almost, because I just think they're both immature because they're both 16, and for me, you see it a lot in the movie because Kion has like a full-blown panic attack, worried that he's never going to be annoyed by Haruhi again. He's super worried that he's never going to see this woman again. He's never going to hear about her plans, which he's been complaining every episode that are stupid. And for Haruhi, I think the supporting cast makes a big point to try to knock him over the head with being like, hey, like she cares about you a lot. Can you just act like it? And that's why Koizumi, during the Endless Summer episodes, you hear him say like, hey, maybe we'd all be able to come out of this loop if you were to just do something radical, like grab her from behind and kiss her or something.
Yeah. And that's pretty much that's all it takes. But like I said, it's sort of like...
But it wasn't it.
It
was a homework.
Yeah, but either way...
It was a homework that got him out of the loop. Something so subtly like that got him out of the loop.
There's a metaphor at the end of the Endless Summer episode that doesn't make sense to me. So you're right. So after a certain point, the deja vu gets so bad after 15,000 times of going through the same 2 weeks. He feels the deja vu hit him as she's leaving on the final day, and he realizes that it has something to do with that moment. Every other episode, he's talking about, I'm not going to do my homework because the next week's just going to reset. Mm-hmm. And then he prevents her from going home just by saying, like, hey, do you want to go do homework? And then everyone's like, oh, I still have to go do homework. Let's go to Kion's place. But that Monday when they go back to the club room after school, Kion and Koizumi are playing poker. And the episode ends with Kion getting a royal flush, all spades. I feel like that has to do with something, because you hear Koizumi say something like, oh, that's really ironic and weird. How did things come together for something like that happen? So it's almost like, I don't know. A lot of things are just working around Kion is how I read that.
Yeah.
You think so?
And
you think that was metaphorical for that? Or?
I think Haruhi lets things happen around Kion, because Haruhi's obviously the god, and that's like her that's like her best friend. That's her her would-be boyfriend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I was going to back to. Is like, did she subconsciously know that nobody had done their homework? Or just Kion?
I don't think that's it. I think she just wanted something else, because she was very melancholic when she kind of like left when she's walking away.
She was upset that the summer was over.
Yeah, she was upset. So,
But what is she upset at? Was she upset that
honestly?
that
It could have been anything. He could have just been sporadic. The whole time I was getting upset because you keep seeing the scene happen again and again and again, and he chooses not to do anything.
This is 5 episodes of the time loop, guys that are listening, girls as well. But yeah, this is 5 episodes that this goes on, and every episode is slightly different.
They're all essentially the same episode.
Yeah, they're all essentially the same episode. Yes,
they have like subtle changes at that. But honestly, if you guys were watching it with us, you wouldn't like. I thought I was like the only one that was tripping out because I thought I was watching the same episode again and again and again on repeat. And no, it turns out that it's actually 5 different episodes, but there's subtle changes to each one of them.
Can I tell you a secret that makes High School Me sound really stupid? The first time I watched The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, I was so high I didn't realize that they were 5 of the same episode. I watched all 5 episodes, and it wasn't
that's a cool episode.
And it's because every episode they acknowledge that they're in a time loop, and then it happens all over again the next episode. So I'm just, that like teenage high, where like you're just like stupid high off nothing, and just zoning out. And I'm just like, I could have sworn I just saw this episode. I could have sworn I just saw them talking about that they're stuck in a time loop. I could have sworn I saw them at the public pool. This is weird.
The only way I kind of noticed is because those urges, those deja vu moments were getting stronger each episode.
You feel it.
Yeah.
You feel it. It's weird.
Yeah, dude,
yeah.
Strange.
At first, they were my first like favorite episodes when I started watching them.
Really?
I was like, ooh. I was like, they're stuck in a time loop. And then by the 3rd episode, I was like, oh man, they stuck in a time loop.
Yeah, and they end up being there. So, what was the counts on 15,000 plus?
32.
Yeah. And the 32nd is when they actually ended the
fix
loop.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and through all this whole time, Yuki, which is the alien built supercomputer android thing, she is conscious through all the loops, all the 15,000 plus ways, and like the whole episode is kind of like, hey, well, why don't you say anything?
Because she can't. Because only Kion has the.
She just observes.
Only Kion has the power to influence Suzumiya.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, if this wasn't at random, and those powers were given to this super annoying girl,
Haruhi
Suzumiya, it's like, would the greater plan? I know I'm trying to see a bigger picture, and then would it be to make her a better or more responsible kind of vessel for these powers? To where they put Kion there for him to be like, hey, you're being rude. Hey, don't assault Mikuru.
Yeah. I think Kion has also the power over her to kind of like really manipulate her emotions to be straight up. Like he is sort of like she's just like the catalyst.
I feel melancholy every time I watch this, but the episode that makes me feel the most absolute melancholy, like I almost feel like empty inside kind of melancholy, is the last episode of season 1, where this guy does so much for this girl, so much for this club, doesn't have his own fucking life, and he gets sent to the other end of town to carry this heavy ass space heater back to the club so that Haruhi cannot care, but like all he gets is the attention from her of walking home together.
Yep. And
that episode always gets me in my feels, and I don't know why.
It's actually really strange because I felt the same way, man. And it's like the whole time she really, I don't want to say like degrades the dude, but she was not really acknowledging how hard he's working towards something that he was just kind of dragged into.
I love how he always pays for the bill, though.
Always,
funny, man. That's funny.
He's always the one to pay. But yeah, what he gets as a reward at in the last episode is she waits for him to wake up from his nap, and
this all-powerful being had the patience.
And she chooses
to.
I'm telling you,
she loves him, bro.
Yeah. But she doesn't know that she's this powerful being. You have to remember that.
She still loves him. If anything, that means more.
She cares about him.
She has very strong feelings for him.
She gets jealous of Kion when he flirts with Asukina.
She does.
And
She does. She's like, when she's like, put your hair in a ponytail, and then she's like, never mind.
It's that
Because Keon had
slice of
mentioned
life.
that he liked them with a fucking ponytail.
Yeah,
There's a lot of instances like that, but Han is like, I don't think Keon likes her like that.
But yeah, I put myself like in like so see it in their perspective as kids. Like, they know, but it's like
I think they're too immature to realize that they like each other.
Exactly, they're very immature.
So as a whole, how'd you feel about the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya?
You want me to be completely honest?
I
will give it a solid 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. We like the number system.
8 biddies.
8 biddies?
8 biddies.
Why 8 biddies? What are the cons and the negatives?
Honestly, it was kind of tough for me to like watch sometimes because it's very slice of lifey, you know, these high school kids, and it's like it's a lot of dialogue, and you just have to take that in to become very involved and very invested into the characters. And until you're able to achieve that, you're kind of like wondering to yourself, why in the hell am I watching this? You know, but once you become involved and once you're invested in the anime, it's a very solid anime. Like just watching everything just throughout and paying attention and being to understand all the characters and the story itself. I think that's what gives it a solid 8. But I'm not going to say that it had a very super interesting story. So,
but you understand why it's there.
Yes, exactly. I definitely understand why. What'd you think, Aldo?
I'm gonna be a little bit more rough. I think I'm gonna give it 7 biddies out of 10 biddies because I did like it. I did like the point that it's trying to bring out. It's very slice of life kind of thing, but I am glad I watched it.
Yeah, you're able to appreciate it.
I'm glad I watched it. Yeah, it was very cool. I really liked the whole Scooby-Doo kind of vibe that the whole thing had. I wanted a little bit more though. It's like the beginning of the anime is about there's not enough weird things, and at the end of the anime I felt like there was not enough weird things in that.
Yeah, it made me feel like it wasn't as wholesome as I should have been.
No, it was wholesome. I just wanted a little more weirdness, but that's just me.
Really?
Yeah.
For me,
the fight scene. I'm sorry. Like the fight scene, like the first fight scene with the Asakuro girl. That was great. The one with the closed space. The big guys.
But you just get those little here and there, like those episodes. But it's not the whole series is like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's where you have to.
And that's where I was like,
yeah. Okay.
For me, I'm always gonna remember it in the context of how I watched it. And like how I watched it in the moment, and it was purposely jarring. And I watched this before Bakemonogatari, which is the anime we watched last week, which is equally as jarring. It's probably a lot more like upsetting. But the thing about Haruhi is I never realized that anime as a medium could be a director motivated genre. Like I had never realized that the structure of these episodes could matter that much and make you feel a certain way. Mm-hmm. Which you don't expect, especially from a slice of life anime. And the thing about the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya is that it there's a bunch of old YouTube videos of people doing the dance at the end, of people cosplaying as Haruhi. Like what it did for like anime culture in like 2007, 2008 was a lot. And I want to get to the point that we can realize it's such a classic so that they can redo it again, because the first
is it so prominent like that
compared to Bakemonogatari, it's just like a really big cultural thing. Like this made that genre like this all-powerful unknown like super being in a high school kind of thing, and it put Kyoto Animation on the map. And now everything Kyoto Animation tries to do is they're trying to redo the success of the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya.
Okay, that's crazy.
And let me ask you, how old were you when you initially watched it?
I must have been high school. And I must have been smoking weed already, so I would have had to have been like 15,
2006?
15, 16, that's how old they're supposed to be.
2006,
right? So,
you were a freshman in high school.
Yeah, so I might have seen it like a year or two late.
So did you kind of like connect with it in that sort of sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I mean about the context. It's just like I keep recommending these anime that gave me the warm fuzzies in high school.
And there's so many animes based in high school and stuff. And honestly, you have to go by the story. Like a lot of this, to people that don't watch animes, you see a lot of like animes being on stage on a high school and stuff like that. But it's not really about that age, not so much. But I mean, the bigger message that a lot of these animes, convey.
Yeah,
at the end.
definitely.
I'm always going to give it a 10. The rest of the table give it an 8 and a 7.
That gives us a solid 9, guys.
A solid 9. I would
Solid
suggest
9.
to watch it, but watch the movie at the end too for it all to really make sense. Do you guys want to watch anything for next week?
Have you gotten any recommendations from you guys? I know we've got a couple of them.
I don't even know what have they told you. Check the tweets.
Last one I saw was from. Give me one
because
second.
I've had people.
I feel
tell
like I
me,
keep seeing Dragon Ball or Naruto or like oh my god,
I'm not about
that's
that.
Bro,
Me
you
neither.
could find that
okay, you know
anywhere.
what?
Can we finish the Drew Big 3?
Yeah,
And then I'll shut up for like 3 months.
Let me tell you what I like about your choices so far are that these are not. It's not another shonen.
No, it's
No,
not.
this is these. I believe these past two that you gave us kind of like really.
It's a message on its own.
Yeah, it's a classic, and they're all classics. Because they all made anime what it is now, and they use those elements. You see those elements in new animes, and what was I about to say? I lost my train of thought. But they're like I said, they're classics. They're like pretty much the staples of anime now. And,
Yeah, absolutely.
And to be honest, I really don't like shonens. Well, I do like shonens, but they're very actiony.
You can't talk about them. I can't discuss
Yeah.
metaphors with you. I can't talk about like some hidden meaning in a message with you about that.
Well, maybe if we talk about Berserk sometime, I'd be super.
We would have to talk about the manga, not the anime.
Yeah, well, of course.
So
I didn't even see that new CG.
and to your point about Haruhi defining the genre, I was describing tsundere on Twitter amongst this group, and I sent a Lucky Star episode. Lucky Star at any given point would probably be like my 4th favorite anime. It's not going to break that big 3, which is Bakemonogatari, Haruhi Suzumiya, and the next one I'm going to recommend. So, but Lucky Star came out a few years after Haruhi Suzumiya, and it's like a kiddish slice of life entirely based around an otaku that is so obsessed with the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya that she goes to school in that uniform. And like she's always trying to talk like her, and they do the dance at the end. They reanimate that dance, but in the Lucky Star, like it's a subversion of a genre, and that's why I keep recommending these anime.
Mm-hmm. Like we said, they've been very influential, and not only that, they're not like you were saying, Aldo, that these animes really have a different message, and they've all made me feel some type of way.
And they have a good message, man. Like you said, it's not a shonen. It's not something like fuck, his dad died. Fuck, this happened.
It doesn't.
It's like you just kind of watch it, and we can talk about it for an hour.
This third one will be the closest to a shonen I have on this list.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right, so
some recommendations that we had were
we should do a poll.
We
should do a poll of the recommendations and then do it, and then that'll be the anime we talk about, that we established as the anime for 2 episodes.
Okay, so I really like one of them that came up.
Trigun?
Assassination Classroom. We got one
Assassination
from this girl.
Classroom.
It never finished.
It never finished.
It got canceled.
Yeah, I don't think I
We
watched
got
it.
that
We can,
one too.
I've seen the
we can
first
put that on the
episode.
poll.
And we'll keep going.
Put all of them.
Honestly,
Put Trigun, put
Cowboy Bebop.
Cowboy Bebop, Assassination Classroom.
What if nobody votes on them? Which one are we gonna
I'll
pick?
vote on it.
Honestly, I would want to talk about Cowboy
Trigun.
Bebop.
Really?
Cowboy Bebop.
It's a
I
classic.
love it.
We could do it.
I love it.
We could do it.
I
Absolutely.
fucking love it.
Absolutely.
Just anime or manga?
Oh, we can do.
I feel like the anime as a medium is already a classic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
it's really good.
It's really.
I never read the manga, so
Hold on, before we get into that,
Yes.
homework assignment for next week. We are gonna watch
Cowboy Bebop.
Madoka Magica.
Oh, I
Madoka
thought we were watching
Magic.
that.
That's right. So that's
So
last on your list.
so at any given point, the Melancholy, Bakemonogatari, and Madoka Magica all switch order, but like my same top 3 is always gonna be these. So this one is a magical girl anime, which probably the one you're most familiar with would be like something like Sailor Moon.
Mm-hmm.
But this one's like the darkest out of all the ones I've picked. That's the and the most shonen-y, and the visuals are dope.
I like visuals.
And so it's short. It's short, but there's also 2 movies. One movie is basically just the entire series in movie form, and the other one's like a sequel.
Okay, and what was that again? What was it called?
I'll text it to you. So it's going to be Madoka, MAD, OKA,
Okay.
Magica, MAGICA. You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll post it up on the Twitter, so you guys can check it out. So that'll be
This was actually on Crunchyroll. We can watch it correctly.
Perfect.
So
yeah, we'll go ahead and put that up. We'll put the name.
Yeah,
up
put
so
the
you guys
poll
can
up.
Yeah, and the poll as well. So that's next week, and then for the following week, we'll probably watch that. We'll see what the polls say.
See what the polls say, yeah. And we also want to get some of our friends in here to be guests on the show.
We could do midweek episodes with like CJ or something.
That'd be great. That'd be
Yeah.
awesome. And
definitely
please watch with us. That'll be great. So you can follow what you do.
Tweet us your like how you feel about what you're watching so far, because that might influence somebody that's new to what we're watching. For example, Aldo and Lloyd didn't watch either of these 2 past series, and if you had any novel feeling or some different perspective, you could have DM'd us, talked about it on Twitter, or sent like a whole email. I'll read a whole
Send
email.
an email.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, write
What's
write
the
a whole
email?
paragraph.
Email is going to be betweennerdspodcast@gmail.com. Following us on Twitter @betweennerds. And yeah, that's the way you can contact us. Keeping track of the Twitter. We're going to post a poll for the recommendations that we've gotten so far. And yeah.
Follow and ask me questions on Twitter @Drulius, DREWALIYAS.
That's hilarious.
You want to do current events?
Well,
Yeah. So what's
what's
going on
been
this
going
week?
on? Well, how's your week, Lloyd?
My week.
The chill down.
The chill down.
Welcome to the chill down with your bitty professors.
My week's been good. It's been going. I've been doing a lot of reading.
Any other nerd extracurricular activities that you've gotten to?
No, not really.
Then
This
what are
week
you
I
reading?
I just bought myself a new Gundam kit. that I
Nice.
wanna
Let me
build.
see it. What's
it's
going
right here,
on?
dude.
What's going on?
So I got this new Gundam. It's a high grade. It's the Burning Gundam. So I ended up copying this from
$24.
Yeah, it's $24 straight. So this is one of the smaller models. There's a real grade, high grade, master grade, and perfect grade, something like that. So yeah, I ended up going to Robogato.
What's that?
Robogato, they have a bunch of anime stuff. They sell model kits like this Gundam. I've seen figures like your One Piece figures. They have plushies. I've seen some mangas that they sell there as well. They also sell a bunch of stickers and whatnot. So they have a bunch of stuff that you can just order from. You can go up to them and just ask them that you want a certain figure, and they're able to get that for you. And everything's just imported from Japan, so they're pretty legit, to be honest. So I copped that. So far, what I started reading, the new one.
Which one? What?
The God of High School. Or
Oh,
what?
okay.
Yeah, right?
Oh, I didn't watch the first episode. I'm sorry. I
I
told you I was going to. I didn't have time.
We watched 28 episodes.
Yeah, that's
of
what I'm
this
saying.
goddamn
There was so much
bullshit.
anime for homework this week. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I
Nah,
fucked up. I
you
feel
good.
bad.
Nah.
I'm for sure gonna
So-
watch it though. It's the best
I
anime
will
of the
watch it
season.
too.
I watched the first episode and then I've been reading it.
Does it meet quality standards?
I'm still reading. I'm still trying to figure out where this is going.
Okay.
So
To be honest,
I'm sorry. Is that supposed to be connected to the Tower of something?
No,
Nah,
it's not the
this is-
Tower.
yeah,
but
this
they're
is
both
completely-
manhwa, which we talked about.
Yeah,
They're
it
the
was
Korean-
Korean, right?
Yeah, the Korean ones.
So yeah, I mean, I've been really strolling through those because there's like 400 and something chapters right now.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go ahead and like read it. It's super easy to just read because it doesn't have like a bunch of dialogue, and it's not like actual mangas where we have bubbles all over the place.
Mhm.
This one's a little bit more straightforward. Especially the way they're drawn, it's actually drawn really awesome on the manhwa. So so far, if you guys have been watching it or reading it, let me know because I'd kind of like to talk about
How
that
did
a
they
little
let
bit.
you know, Lloyd?
Oh, you can reach me at Boy Tetsuo on Twitter. Can
you spell it for me?
Yeah, it's gonna be BoyTetsuo. Go ahead and holla at me. And if not, you could also send it to Between Nerds. You know, the Twitter, bro. But anyways, if you guys are watching it, let me know. That's about it. That's pretty much all I've been watching. I watched a couple of episodes of Tower of God because Lynn threw it on yesterday.
I can recommend it a million times, but like Lynn says it once and you watch it, fake.
No, we're just chilling.
Fake.
We threw it on, bro. Oh, fuck out of here.
Fake.
That's
Dog.
funny.
Do you
But,
like it so far?
Well, I watched like a couple of random episodes that kind of like show how strong this fool's supposed to be.
I like that it's finally getting memes. It took the whole season of Tower of God for it to get a meme, but it got a good one.
It got a really good one.
It got a good one.
Right now, I'm not really caring for it, to be honest.
No, you're probably not gonna like it.
That's what happened.
And you, Aldo?
Me, any extra nerd curricular activities? Not really. Just been playing Destiny. The week resetted on Tuesday, so I have to do all my activities again so I can get some high gear. I'll probably end up doing some Trials of Osiris this weekend. If you want to do Trials of Osiris, let me know at KVK21. Get the flawless.
Oh, add me. Yeah, dude, actually add me on PS4 or on PSN as well. It's going to be Hollywood, but instead of
Destiny, it's gonna be Apex.
it's going to be Apex. Let me know, dude. I'm trying to run it up. Anyways.
Yeah, and nothing really. I was just doing homework on our anime of the week. That was 25 episodes, and it was cringy episodes. So, did that. I almost watched my neighbor. What is my neighbor?
What did your neighbor do?
Yeah, what's your neighbor
That
do,
movie,
dog?
the anime movie. My neighbor.
Oh, Totoro.
Totoro. There you go.
Ah, yes.
I almost watched my neighbor Totoro last night with my girlfriend, but she was like, "Nah."
Really?
I'm just playing. Nah,
That's a
I,
classic. That's
nah,
a
it's a classic. It's a classic.
That and-
I'm gonna watch it with her soon, but yeah, we're about to watch it, but we changed it for some reason. I can't remember why. I think I was too little already. Too much bit.
So let's watch it.
Wait, can I ask you a question real quick that I've been wanting to talk about with somebody all day?
Yes.
Did you hear yesterday that the President of the United States, Donald Trump, acquitted his longtime
yes.
financial partner, Roger Stone, from all federal crimes?
Really?
You didn't hear about this?
Nah.
That's what you do when you're a criminal. Yeah, he lied to Congress. He's supposed to be in prison, but he acquitted him.
Yeah, like he got convicted of like 7 different felonies regarding
Isn't there
campaign
like
finance stuff.
isn't
and-
there conflict of interest here?
But that's one of the what's that power called? It's in
Yeah,
the Constitution.
like to pardon people.
Yeah, the pardon's in the Constitution.
Yeah.
Like that's the
like-
president's one like really big power. They can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Dude, like,
Damn,
Yeah.
release all my boys from jail.
yeah, dude, and
Yeah. And Roger Stone didn't snitch at all. He didn't work with federal authorities or with the other side to get a lighter deal. He didn't say anything about his involvement and was just on Fox News all the time talking a bunch of nonsense. And because he was loyal to Trump, Trump was able to acquit him of all his charges.
Jesus Christ.
And that's what a criminal does when a criminal is fucking president of the greatest country on earth.
I was asking Karen this today, but in like a year, 2 years after his next election, if Trump loses, do you think they're gonna push for more federal investigations? Like, do you think Trump could
Yeah.
end up in prison?
I
Man,
think
I
there's
really-
a chance I'm pretty sure he's gonna end up in jail.
Really? Really?
I
think
really
there's
hope so, man.
You don't think so?
I know. I really hope so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I really
But
hope
he's
so.
definitely. I think whenever he's out of office, he's definitely going to be seeing a lot of. He's going to get sued.
He's gonna be spending a lot of time in Russia.
He's going to spend a lot of time in the courts.
Yeah, he's gonna be spending a lot of time in Russia first. And then
I get worried about what his supporters would say about that, because I keep saying that the United States is famous for having a peaceful transition of power. like Trump could be the first president that if he loses, he goes on Fox News and starts crying and tells all his gun crazy supporters that they all need to storm like the White House or something and make sure that whoever's coming in doesn't.
You think there's enough people, man? I like to think that there's more good people than bad people.
All I've learned in the past 4 years is that 40% of the country is absolute garbage.
It is.
That's how I feel right now.
Yeah, because that's just the United States. That's right. So we have like the most assholes.
Yeah, and I don't think it's coincidence that all the neo-Nazis and KKK members belong to one party.
No, absolutely not, man. Absolutely not. It's all bullshit, dude. I'm just so sad. It makes me so sad. Just to see all this garbage.
No, Lloyd?
Nah. Probably some racist. I'm good.
Huh? Towards who?
Who's being racist?
I was having some very racist thoughts right now.
Oh,
I'm just gonna refrain because it makes me.
Because we're live.
It does make you upset. Okay, I don't want you to be like, yeah, I was about to say something about you being brown, Drew. Shut up.
Drew's not brown at all. He's a white guy from Minnesota.
Yeah, from Minnesota.
So what about you, Drew? What you been up to this week besides
crying about Trump?
For Trump.
Well, I listen to a lot of political podcasts, which is probably why I keep having this on the mind. But what I feel like the biggest story coming out of this week is the closing of this Supreme Court session. And what I think is wild that all these podcasts keep saying is John Roberts is probably the most powerful Chief Justice of the Supreme Court since like the 1930s. So in like 100 years, Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts, just this session sided with the majority like 98% of the time. Like he only dissented on 2 of the cases. That means that not only is he the head Chief Justice as the Chief Justice, but being the swing vote, he has power over both sides of the court. And that had a lot to do with the Trump investigations and the subpoenas that went all the way to the Supreme Court. One being out of the Southern District of New York, and the other being from Congress in Maxine Waters' sent some subpoenas to Deutsche Bank trying to get like 8 years of Trump's records, but they were denied because of absolute immunity was Trump's legal defense.
Really?
Really? Yeah. That's like a 3-year-old story.
Oh shit.
No, yeah, and then the Supreme Court allowed for the
tax
to be released. Yeah, for his taxes to be released, but then he moved it to smaller courts, right?
So one of the decisions was that the Attorney General of the Southern District of New York could get the 8 years of financial records to a closed jury or a closed session. I forget how they worded it. But the Maxine Waters subpoena about her trying to get financial records from his advising firm has to go back to the lower courts because the legislative branch needs to re-legislate on their official reasons on asking for these records. So, like, I was reading an Economist article on the drive over here about how that almost reaffirms the legislative branch power to check the executive because the Supreme Court basically gave the framework that the House would need to follow to actually get these records.
Man, that's crazy, brother.
Yeah.
Be sure to vote in November, guys.
Yes, please vote. Please vote, guys. I know.
Please vote.
I don't want to vote for Biden. You know,
I will.
I will.
Yeah, I know, right? Same.
What's funny is I listen to a Dungeons and Dragons podcast at work, and right now I'm listening to like really old episodes from 2016, and you hear them talk about the 2016 election. Everything's like a joke, and I'm like, I can't wait to get to like a year later so I can hear about how they don't think it's a joke.
That's funny. It was definitely not a joke. But another thing I also want to remind you guys out there listening, remember to wear your mask out, man.
Please.
Always wear your mask. Coronavirus is real, my dude. Y'all need to be safe out there, dude. And wear your mask. Be wary of other people and their own health. I just wanted to put that reminder out because this week I was out and dog, there's so many people without masks.
I like that the businesses are finally starting to stand up to those people.
Yeah, absolutely
man. And
because no one deserves to get, you know.
Imagine you're just working at like a 7-Eleven and you catch corona. That's terrible. Like
Right?
that's
It's
not
terrible.
worth it. That's not worth it. Just
I
'cause-
know. I think a lot of businesses are taking a lot of like some solid measures, like cleaning way more often.
Oh,
Absolutely.
So-
But yeah.
It's almost sad that this is how it should have been the whole time.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's
So
like,
it takes
so
it
you're
takes a
s-
whole pandemic to just like be cleaner.
yeah. So you're saying you're gonna clean the subways twice a month now?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, you make me feel
No,
Yeah.
like once a week now, bro. Oh my god, that's
Like-
too much.
Yeah, they
The city, the richest city in the country couldn't afford to clean the subways once a week.
Oh my god.
It doesn't make sense. It literally doesn't make sense. All that money.
Yeah, how much was it costing them? Like
And it's
58
just
million.
shit, man. It's just shit. I went probably in 2018. I went to New York, and it's just disgusting, man. Like we were there August. It was kind of warm during the day, more colder at night, but it just smells like shit, man.
You
It's just
saw the pizza rat.
it's just
Yeah.
it's just things. You know, sun hits the ground, and then everything starts boiling, and then
The sludge
The
just
sludge
recedes
is-
from,
yeah.
from the
Disgusting.
concrete.
yeah, man.
What is
And
there to do in New York? Like, if I were to go to New York, I'm not sure what I'd
Go
be
to the
doing.
Bronx,
Ah,
bro.
Honestly,
For
man,
what? To do what?
Well,
I don't know.
I mean, Manhattan can be done in a day.
What do you do? Like, you just go.
Well, I'm really a big movie fan, so just the fact of being some of these places, like, hey, this is where the fucking guy
Yeah.
died, or this, and that.
They
But
have
I mean,
operas and
it's
stuff.
like Broadway.
You just go to
yeah,
Times Square.
musical.
Oh,
Yeah, Times
cool. What do
Square.
I do for 3 more days?
Yeah.
I've seen this.
No,
all
but
in
you
movies.
have to go to the other viewers. You have to go to the Bronx. You have to go to Queens and stuff like that. Like the coolest part in Manhattan will be Hell's Kitchen, where you have absolutely the most amazing food ever.
That's where
Really?
Daredevil
Yeah,
lives.
that's where Daredevil lives. Yeah, yes, sir. Good job. 200 points for.
I watched that.
Gryffindor.
I watched that Netflix series.
What else? What else did you do?
Out there, like I said, we're just in Manhattan. We're there for the weekend. Just went to.
Oh, you used to live in Vegas. Did you hear that Vegas just closed the bars and the casinos again?
Yes, my girlfriend was showing me a video of her friends. Some of her friends, they just had arrived that day, and everything got closed.
that sucks,
Yeah, they're just walking around. There's nobody ghost town. Not even a
So
homeless
what?
guy.
You just hang out in the hotel room? You
I
literally
guess
can't
so.
do anything.
Yeah, you have to go get beer at the gas station and stuff.
Just turn up in the apartment. Corona.
No.
Baronas.
And then what?
And yeah, that's it for me. I haven't really done anything this week. I cleaned the pool, so the pool's ready, guys.
Nice. So
good?
then, yeah. So I guess we'll wrap it up for today, man.
This has been Between Nerds.
Yeah.
Say it. Lloyd, say it.
This is Between Nerds.
Thank
Has
you.
been.
This is Between Nerds. This
This
is
still
going
is.
to further be the
Between
nerds,
Nerds.
between 3 biddies logging out.
Yes.